about inspiring others to enjoy life 1 mile at a time. We are doing our very first Q&A question and answer session here on this episode of Jammin' on the Run. I'm really excited about doing this. I want to say hello first to Megan. Hey, Megan.
Hello.
And we have Rob tonight.
Hello.
And we have Jackie. Gang's
Hi.
here again. This is awesome. So let's get into our first question.
All right. Laura, this one's probably for you. What app or programs do you use for your videos?
If mostly I edit on my laptop, and for that I use Cyberlink Power Director. I have the latest version. I think it's 13. I'm not quite sure. Not because I think it's the best necessarily. It's the one that came with my computer many years ago, and I'm used to it. So for some of my more casual vlogs, though, I do them on my iPhone, and I use Pinnacle Studio for that. It costs like $2.99. It's very tricky to figure out at first, but it has the most functionality as my bigger Cyberlink version. I like it a lot better than iMovie. Jack, I know that's what you use. You like iMovie. I don't know. I've never got along with that.
Yeah, iMovie I think is easy for beginners maybe, but even me, I have to ask my son how to do certain things on there. So.
All right. Our other friend Anne, she wants to know, how do you psych yourself to run in the rain or otherwise inclement weather? Something we are all experts at, unfortunately. I'll be the first to go. I hate running in the rain. I am such a fair weather runner. I just get miserable with the thought of having to run in the rain or cold or wind or even sometimes snow. But you get to a point that part of what keeps me going, and the point of signing up for these races for me, is you put money down to run these races. You're invested regardless. So it kind of forces you to go. And if you're there, you might as well make the best of it. And quite honestly, I've had some of my best runs in the rain and snow, just because I think mentally you want to get through it. It's not always an enjoyable experience, but it's a good opportunity to really push yourself and see what you can do. We've written about this. We've talked about this quite a bit, so you can go to our archives and see our different topics. But ladies, what else do you want to add to this?
I know for me, I'm always freezing. I'm always cold all winter. And sometimes I am like, if I get out there, I'll warm up. Like, this is like a January run, mind you, not, if it's like January and I'm in my house and I'm freezing and I know I got to run, like sometimes I'll just be like, what, just get out the door, just get out the door. Because to me, that's the hardest part, is getting outside. Once I start moving, I'm fine. It's just that initial getting outside and maybe getting the first half mile in. And then my body warms up and then I feel good. Because really, as long as you're dressed right, you're going to warm up. Rain, on the other hand, I don't even know if I could psych myself up unless it's for a race.
Rain's tough. Rain's probably the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree, and I'll go further to say that if it's a local race and it's raining, I'm not going. That's really not going. Now, if I've run in races in the rain in Disney, not as long as I wasn't at the Splash and Dash, but I've run in rain, and I've run half marathons that have started to rain and poured, and you knew it was in the forecast. And I've been where it's spitting at the beginning, but I was already if it was a location where I was already and had paid to fly there, paid to go there, I would still do it. But there's so many local races around me that I'm not ashamed to say that I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
All right. And she also wants to know, does everybody practice for their jump shots?
No, but I've taken
each race
10 or 20.
That's all we do. We don't run. We just train for jump shots. That's it.
I mean, there's been times where I'm like, you take it and you're like, nope, do it again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it takes a several takes sometimes.
Yeah. Depends if you know the person taking it. If you don't, you just have to get it right the first time.
I will say that if you have someone take video and then just do a screenshot, it tends to be a lot better than when you try to take a picture or a burst. That's when we've gotten our best jump shot pictures.
All right.
Laura Mueller, and by the way, tweet out your pictures, #JoyfulJumpShots. We'd love to see them. Laura Mueller would like to know, as a back of the packer, I would like to know if they've won runners in line for photos who are going to be swept if they don't leave the line. And do you still get a medal if you don't get swept, but still don't beat the balloon ladies? I had an experience with this when I ran with my wife Lauren at the 10K last year at Darkside. We physically couldn't run any faster because of the way the crowd was, and we were in one of the last corrals. So for most of the race, after about the first mile, we had that constant threat of balloon ladies behind us. And anytime we tried to stop to take a picture, we'd have the bicycle people come through because they have like a 30-second warning. They'll tell you like balloon ladies are 30 seconds behind, keep moving. Otherwise, you're going to get swept. So they're basically telling you can stop with this picture, but yeah, you're probably going to get swept. So these people on the bikes kind of keep pushing you to keep moving because it's legit. Once those balloon ladies pass you, you're probably going to get swept. They do get to certain points where you're not going to get swept because the balloon ladies actually did pass us right by Wide World of Sports before we walked to the finish. So they still beat us to the finish. And yeah, as long as you finish before they close the course, you're fine. You'll get a medal. Damn balloon ladies.
Oh yes, I've come to know them well from
And
walking.
Laura knows who they are. She tracks them on her phone.
Yes.
so she
Yes, I
always
do.
knows where they're at.
Except I
Which is a
wasn't
nice
getting
little tip, too.
notifications. A friend of mine, Shaylee, hey Shaylee, she was at home and she was getting notifications. Then she would text me. So yeah, but you can track them. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but I will put that in the notes below. So.
Yeah, because that's useful information to have.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have if you're worried about, if you think you're cutting it close. I remember the first year I did the marathon, I really wanted to ride Everest. And so, I didn't really know how to track balloon ladies or anything, but I just remember being in line and everyone, are they coming? Are they coming? It's so nerve-wracking. So
It really is.
Definitely, that's really good advice to track them if you're concerned.
Ashley and Seth had a couple of questions that I think we'll probably talk about later on because we're not exactly experts on the first half, but the second half we're definitely experts on. That revolves around food. I think you've touched on this before, but I'd also be interested in hearing more about which Walt Disney World restaurants you frequent for your pre-race and or celebratory meals. I think our go-to as a group for the group that we're in pre-race is the Wave. I like the Wave for a number of reasons. One, it's kind of off the beaten path. It's fairly simple to get reservations for, and it can accommodate big groups pretty easily because we usually have quite a few people with us. It's a nice spot to be able to get everybody together and eat. It's not too expensive, affordable as far as Disney prices go. And you're at the Contemporary, and it's just a great spot to hang out. Yeah. You can grab drinks, hang out, watch some fireworks. I just love it. It's one of my favorite restaurants for that reason. It's consistently good. So I would say that's a great one. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Well, as far as
I
Wave
agree with
too,
that
the
one.
Wave, they do have like a runner special. It's pasta with grilled chicken. You do have to request it. They won't offer it, even if we're all like sitting there wearing our medals. You do have to ask them. But that has been my go-to pre-marathon meal for the 2 times that I've done marathon weekend. It's awesome.
And you can get it without sauce. You can get it dry, as I do, with grilled chicken, broccoli, and noodles.
Yeah,
no
very
sauce.
good.
And they look at you a little strange, but it's okay.
I do want to
For
throw out
me-
that a lot of the places, I'm sorry, Jackie, a lot of the places that you go to, if you ask, they will have some type of runner special or they will accommodate your needs. I know we got so many flatbreads at the Contempo Cafe, and it comes with beef, and they were able to put grilled chicken on it for us. So you just have to ask.
I gotta tell you, the Contempo Cafe is another good one because that's
so good.
as far as quick serve restaurants at the resorts go, that's one of the better ones. And it's a great spot.
Now, what about afterwards, guys?
My go-to drink after is a Coke, a can of Coke. So I know you are all beer, but honestly, the sugar and the Coke, cold Coke, works. See, I'm convert. Maybe Jeff Galloway's onto something, right?
I know, right?
I know.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I know when it's me and Lauren, if it's a little low key, it's a signature. But Le Cellier is one of our favorite restaurants overall, anyway. After marathon last year, it was like the best meal I ever had. I was so hungry and just starving, and there's nothing better than some steaks and some poutine, um, and some Moosehead beer. That's kind of one of my favorite meals. We did that for Dark Side last year too, and it's just a nice spot. If it's only going to be a couple of you, and you want to splurge a little bit, it's a good one to get. Tough one to get. You have to definitely book it at the 180 mark because it's a smaller restaurant. It fills up pretty quickly. But it's one I just love it.
Now, for the Princess Half Marathon, it's our tradition. We've done it for 5 years. We always go to Ohana's. So after the Princess next year, that's where you can find us at around 5 o'clock. We have a huge group that goes in there, and that's just the pot stickers. Oh my gosh, I have yet to figure out how to pace for Ohana's because I will just shovel in the pasta, the noodles, and the pot stickers. But that's my favorite for a post race.
Yeah, I will say, was it Via Napoli we went last year?
Yes.
We went.
Oh gosh, that's good too.
That's a great one.
Just simple pizza for me. I was like, this is so good. That was so like I'm excited about that.
That's good before the race too.
Yeah, it was good.
I could have some right now. Move on.
What about just foods in general? What else? What other foods do you need before a race or after a race?
I have to have peanut butter on a bagel and oatmeal before about 2 hours before a marathon, 2 to 3 hours. I have to put in a lot of food to get me through a marathon. So that's like my go-to breakfast. And then like about an hour before, I always have a Nature Valley granola bar. That's my favorite.
I second the Nature Valley. I don't know why, because it's something easy you can bring with you to the starting line while you're kind of waiting. Yeah. Disney runs are tough because you're waiting. It's from the time you leave the hotel or wake up to the time you start. It can be hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you definitely need something.
I'm not much of a breakfast guy. Not when I first wake up in the morning, but like on a race day, I got to have something before a race at some point. So I always bring a protein bar with me. My go-tos are the Medirex ones. I think they're very fulfilling. I don't feel hungry after eating them, and they can kind of sustain me for a while. So I always have one of those in my pocket. Megan, anything else?
I'm a Thomas's English muffin,
yes,
toasted hard with peanut butter and a banana, and it has to be toasted or I can't stomach it. So the All Stars you can get usually into their cafeteria area, the food court, and you can use their toasters. So you just have to swipe some peanut butter if you don't come with your own. But that is my go-to. So I have the banana, the peanut butter, and the muffin, toasted, hard toasted.
Hard toasted. Hard toasted.
Crunchy. Yeah.
Crunchy. All right. Nicole Schuster would like to know, could you talk about fueling gear and clothing costumes to wear for a marathon? I know it works for me when it comes to fueling gear and clothing for distance up to a half. I'm feeling uncertain of what I'll need for my first full, which is the Walt Disney World Marathon. We'll probably touch on the fueling and gear piece a little bit more in depth later because that's a little complicated to explain quickly here, but you don't have a better authority than these three ladies when it comes to running a costume. So, ladies, what are your take on what to do for a full?
I'll throw it out there first and say I like to be comfortable. So my costume for a full is not elaborate at all, but I try to theme my skirt with my top, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about comfort for me. I carry a lot of nutrition and fuel with me and a race belt, and so I'm all about comfort. Very rarely will I wear even a sparkle athletic skirt for a full. I wear like my Lululemon that has some pockets. Everything's about comfort.
I agree. I don't think I've ever even worn a costume for a full. I'm too afraid.
Mm-mm.
Maybe like I would do a shirt maybe with a Disney theme in the future. I don't know. I mean, because we haven't discussed what we're going to do for the full, but it scares me.
But yeah, for the full, like if you're doing, I know she's doing Dopey, for the 5K, 10K, you can get away with more elaborate costumes. For the half, you're getting, you can still have some fun, but definitely for the full. And also, it's important if you're January, you have to plan for all different types of weather because it could be freezing on the 5K and tank tops and shorts for the full. You just don't know.
So the last question that we can answer in the time we most likely have left before you turn us off is who's going to be at the Disneyland half? So I know some of our Joyful Milers are. So I think those are the ones that are silently partying for everybody that's listening from a podcast perspective. But
I'm silently moping for those wondering at home.
It's not tonight.
Yes, Jackie and I are going to be there, and I'm so excited. It was like a last minute decision, and we said that we were going to be on a super tight budget because I wasn't expecting to do that race this year. So we are reusing our costumes, right, Jackie?
We sure are. We're gonna go budget wise, but you know what? Those medals are what sold me, the Pixar Disney medals. I cannot wait to see them.
I
So no
cannot
club
wait
level.
to see these medals. Oh my goodness.
But I'm really excited about them.
I cannot wait. And we are going to be announcing closer to the race a possible meetup. If anyone would be interested in doing a Joyful Miles casual meetup, because we would love to meet all of you who've been supporting us, and we thank you very much. So, and of course, we're going to have a lot of Disneyland half tips coming up.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everyone for the questions. I look forward to doing some more of this in the future. Like I said, you can always tweet at us at Joyful Miles on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group. It's just a nice little way to, like I said, connect with everybody kind of privately, which is pretty cool. And you can always look, find us at our blog in different ways to get a hold of us. So anything else, ladies, we want to add for today?
We're good.
I think we're good. Thank you, Jackie. That's what I was looking for.
Like a train.
So for Jackie, Laura, Megan, and myself, thanks so much for listening this week. Have a joyful week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Take care,
Bye.
everyone.